Hi guys, welcome back to SwitchUp and to another week of interesting Nintendo Switch releases. First we'll take a brief look at a couple of the games that have already crept out in the last week, and then we'll cover any interesting ones that are coming up in this coming week. Is there going to be anything to bust your wallet? Well, hopefully not, let's be honest, but let's find out. The first game that came out in this last week was Umerangi Generation Special Edition. I don't know if I've said that right, and apologies if I've messed it up, but yeah. It's a first-person photography game set in a retro future and sees you play as a courier while an impending crisis looms. You must complete photo bounties and can do so in any way you see fit, according to the blurb, and you'll be able to unlock a variety of upgrades for your camera as you go along. This, being the Special Edition, includes the macro DLC as well and has gyroscopic controls added and touchscreen support. It sells for £18.89 and like I said, it's out now. The first of this week's games then is called Out of Line. This is a 2D platformer with an incredibly charming hand-drawn aesthetic, almost having a pastel style design in terms of both backgrounds and characters. You follow the adventures of San in a quest to escape the factory that was once his home. It says you'll find friends along the way and journey into the mysterious world. It doesn't really say a lot more. There's no mention of any particular gameplay mechanics or gimmicks, so perhaps it's just a straight up old school platformer, which to be honest I quite appreciate from time to time. It's selling for £9.89 or your regional equivalent, and that releases on the 6th of July.
Dreadful enemies to avoid. As a player, you will have to use your creativity and reflexes to unlock all of the secrets within the world on San's path to freedom.
Next, you have Treachery in Beatdown City, which is a beat-em-up, albeit one with quite a unique twist. You play it as one of 3 characters on a mission to save the president, Blake Orama, from a group of terrorists known as the Ninja Dragon. This all sounds very familiar to anyone who's ever played a beat-em-up, but it does appear to mix things up with its combat system. It appears to be a hybrid of traditional real-time fighting and a turn-based system where you choose from a pool of moves as you fight each enemy. The blurb mentions that you can build custom combos this way and that there are a host of new moves to learn as you play. For me personally, I play beat-em-ups to unwind and love the simplicity that the genre is known for, so a turn-based system wouldn't be for me, but I always appreciate a dev team putting a new spin on a classic genre, and if you play it, you'll have to let me know how it works in practice. This is selling for £14.99, but it does have a 20% off that price up until launch day, which is the 7th of July. Next you have Monument, which is an old school first-person shooter, and it looks to have been heavily influenced by games such as Doom and Quake, judging by the trailer. It promises hardcore classic gameplay, huge hordes of monsters including evil chickens, aliens, and other evil spirits, and a host of weapons such as shotguns, machine guns, and plasma, you guessed it, guns. As derivative as it is, by the sounds of it, it's selling for a very cheap price of just £5.39 and has 15% off that until launch. The biggest issue it will have is that you can find and buy the first 2 Doom games on Switch for less than this. But I do suppose if you have played those to death and are looking for something similar, the price is still low enough here to be tempting. And that one's also out on the 7th of July. Releasing on the 8th is Aria Chronicle, which is a turn-based RPG roguelike. You play as Princess Aria and her team, and the blurb stresses the importance of managing them, and not just in terms of attacking in battle, but also when it comes to their mentality, as this will greatly affect their performance in combat. You can choose heroes to create a team of 5, there are 14 job classes to choose from, randomized dungeons to explore, and a variety of weapon classes to use. This is out on Steam and seems to have had a decent reception over there, although it also looks to be a fair bit cheaper on that platform.
Yeah.
Then you have Masagoro, which is a horror exploration game set in the first person. It's set inside a ryokan, a Japanese inn, and once again I've probably pronounced that wrong, apologies Glen, who's written this, that was closed in the early Showa period and sees you playing as a character whose curiosity gets the better of him, and he decides to explore said building after hearing tales about his past. It says the game's 2 to 3 hours long, although I have to say that the blurb does feature quite broken English in terms of its translation, so hopefully the game itself is a little more polished. Coming from Devolver Digital and releasing on the 8th, you have Boomerang X. This looks to be a first-person action platformer where not only do you use your boomerang to slay hordes of enemies, but once thrown, you can project yourself forwards towards it, and it looks as if this mechanic will be necessary in order to get around levels, reach otherwise inaccessible areas, and dodge the aforementioned enemies. The blurb puts a big emphasis on the need to constantly move whilst fighting, and it'll be interesting to see how all of this comes together. If this sounds intriguing to you, it sells for £17.99 or your regional equivalent. On the 9th of July, you have the Silver Case 2425 or 2425. Now, as far as I can ascertain, this includes a remaster of the original game, the Silver Case, which came out for the PlayStation 2 in 1999, and its sequel, the 25th Ward, which was released for mobile devices in 2005. The eShop blurb doesn't make this abundantly clear, but that's how it reads on NIS America's website. This was written and directed by Goichi Suda, known as Suda51, who is probably best known these days for the No More Heroes series, and it is a point-and-click adventure game. You walk environments in the first person, with windows popping up displaying text or areas of interest, photos, etc. It's a very interesting looking gameplay setup. It's going to sell for £35.99. Also on the 9th, you have Monster Hunter Stories 2 from Capcom. This is set in the Monster Hunter universe and is a sequel to 2017's Monster Hunter Stories for the 3DS. These Stories games are turn-based RPGs where you raise monsters from eggs, bonding with them in order to use their unique abilities to aid you on your quest, and they join you for your adventure. The story revolves around the disappearance of the Rathalos. The last hope for their species lies within a mysterious egg that's entrusted to you. You have the option of power, speed, and technical attacks when in battle, and filling a friendship gauge will see you able to unleash powerful skills. I'd always intended to buy the first game in the series, but my 3DS died just before it released, so I never played it, but I am intrigued to at least give this one a try, being a huge fan of the main series. There's a demo available for this game, and progress made in the demo carries over if you purchase the main game, which is always nice to see. It will sell for £49.99 or your regional equivalent. And finally for the week, there's Ys 9 Monstrum Nox. This follows Ys 8 and Ys Origins in coming to the Switch, and has been out in Japan for the PS4 since 2019, although only came to the West for that particular console earlier this year. Much like Ys 8, this is an ARPG where you play as a host of main characters that you can switch between on the fly. You can play as a group of monstrums, powerful beings who can exorcise monsters and must use each's own unique gifts to stop the Grimwald Nox, shadowy dimension on the verge of flowing into the real world. How many times have we heard that before? Each member of the party has a unique traversal ability, such as gliding or running up walls, helping to reach various secrets in the city of Bulduck or the dungeons you encounter. This is another game that has a demo on the eShop if you want to give it a go before playing, as it will be selling for the princely sum of £53.99 or your regional equivalent. A big thanks to Glen, who has obviously written this one. He's also made the video. I am just the voice, so make sure you let him know in the comments which of these you're interested in, and he'll be replying. Thanks to all of you that watch the channel, and to our patrons who support us each and every month. We really appreciate it. And as always, for all things Switch, all the time, keep it Switch up. Cheers guys, see ya!